live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
And we're joined by the returning Ty Cheman, the writer, co-writer, co-director of Little Green People.
How's it going, guys?
Welcome.
Good, thank you. It's always good to talk to you. And Little Green People will be premiering at Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival.
Awesome.
It took many years to remember that long name.
That's
Oh, very good. Awesome.
It is like the coolest thing ever that I was at the movie theater and they have little advertisement cards for Buffalo Dreams and my posters in the bottom corner.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Greg Lamberson and Christioli, for including me in this year's festival as a selection.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I met you for the first time in Buffalo at Buffalo Dreams.
Yeah, that was like 4 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was before the plague. Yeah.
Yes. And you mentioned Greg. So he's seen like your work over time. How helpful would you say he is?
Very helpful. It's very stern and respectful and everything, though. But if I were to mess up, he lets me know to fix my shit, kind of thing. But he's been giving very good creative inspiration and also direction and stuff. I'm very glad that he's a good friend of mine, and I could always rely on him for his take on things.
Yeah. He runs a great festival, and I always think he does some of the best Q&As at the festivals because he's coming from a different perspective than some other people, as a veteran filmmaker.
Definitely. The fun time. So my last feature that you guys have seen, Not Another Monster Movie, that that was about a year ago. We aired it with Without Your Head. It came down to we were rushing the edit to be ready for the festival, much like Little Green People was again this year. The film was exporting, and we missed the upload for Film Freeway by like 5 minutes because my computer was so slow. And at the time, Greg already knew that I booked off of work, and he goes, "Okay, well, since you can't submit to the festival, how about we help each other out?" So I was in charge of helping some of the international directors get from their hotels back and forth, and I got to take them to Niagara Falls and Maid of the Mist and see them all freak out over water. But coming from Buffalo, it's your backyard. You don't think too much of it, compared to other people that come from out of state or out of country. And it was the best networking experience I've ever had in my life in film, of like getting to talk with Isaac Esban, who has Mal de Ojos coming out in theaters actually in September, and then also like people like Richard Roundtree and just a handful of others. It's made the best connection of my career, and I'm so grateful that I get to be included every year in this festival.
Mm-hmm. That's something I always bring up on the show for people about the festivals. Not only obviously it's great to go and watch your movie if you're there, or if you don't have a movie there, to watch other people's stuff, but there's a lot of pluses besides that. Like you said, interacting with other filmmakers, and they can be supportive, and then you start working together. And to me, there's just so many benefits. That's how I got involved in doing anything.
Oh yeah, I love it every single year, and I know like the last year all we had I think was a short film playing. I could be wrong. Since my major involvement with Buffalo Dreams and Murder Creek with Kristen Skeet, I was very fortunate to be hired by other local directors to be the cinematographer for their short films and see those play at the other Buffalo Dream years, kind of things. But yeah, we're excited that we have Little Green People showing, and then it's also at the end of the film, our micro short Trapped, starring Paul McGinnis, is going to play. That's only about, I think, like a minute and a half long. I know it showed. I believe we submitted it for that 4th of July festival that you guys did as well. Yep. It was so funny filming that. That was all done in one day for the short film. We all just met up at Akron Parks for the filming of it, and we just found a creek and just shot Paul finding 2 little creepy dolls in the water. And it wasn't until we were about to leave that we went to go pick up one of the dolls, and we saw if you angle it properly, the eyes open up. So then that's when we stopped everything, put the girl doll back in the water, and just put a stick behind its head to make it lean upwards at the end of the short film, and its eyes open up. I was so proud of that we got that creepy shot in there.
Yeah.
But for a good chunk of it, like I was knee deep in water in the creek, just trying to get shots of Paul coming down the little hill. and I think that was like end of October or beginning November. It was pretty cold, but I know camera guys do what we got to do to get the shots. So
Yeah. I'm gonna get Troy to go to Buffalo or a festival anyway with me at some point.
oh, it'll be a blast.
Uh-oh.
And
Troy might be
I've
muted.
never been to one, so yeah, I'd like to.
yeah, whenever you guys are in the area, I'll take you guys out for some good quality buffalo wings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and what is the beef there? The beef on
Oh,
whack.
the beef
is very good.
on
Yep.
whack. Yep.
And
Oh
then
yeah,
there's
it'll be a lot of fun.
I'm looking here because I have one of the drinks around here. Jason sent me one. I forget the name of it. What's the drink that everyone drinks in Buffalo?
Tim Hortons.
No, it's like a soda. It's like some type of berry soda.
Oh, Loganberry.
Loganberry, yeah.
I got that in my fridge. Yeah, my mom's coming from out of state, so we grabbed it a 12-pack for them to enjoy it. I get sick off of it so bad I can't have red dye and everything. So it's very sweet and tasty, but I don't
drink anymore since I don't drink. I don't eat a lot of sugar. So I have one unopened.
yeah.
Jason.
All right, to all our viewers, it's not Ashton Kutcher joining; it is Paul McGinnis. So,
hello, Paul.
Caller.
Yeah.
Do I want
You've won.
Yes, the first caller. You won yourself an autograph of Ty Cheman.
Yes.
Let's give
It's
him
a
your
reprint.
address off the show, and he'll send it on over to you.
it's a photocopy. That's all.
So, Paul, how did you get involved in Little Green People?
How did I get involved? Am I in it, Ty? I don't.
Yep.
I've worked with Ty before. I was in his last project. Not another monster movie. Wow, my brain went away on that one. And Ty and I have known
Worried
each
for a
other.
second.
What?
I was worried for a second.
And he then said, "Hey, you want to be in this thing?" And I played a little hard to get, and then said, "Maybe." And then, of course,
very nice.
I was being. He said I'd be working with puppets, and I couldn't resist that. So
That's how he gets everybody.
isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
Who could say
not quite
no
what
at
I
that point?
expected. You know, when I hear puppetry's involved, but still, good time. Good time.
Yeah, the pitch for the film for the cast was pretty hilarious. So, coming from an indie perspective of film, it's kind of thinking, okay, what can we do? What can we really afford? Because a lot of the times, like independent writers, they just go fully crazy writing out a film that's going to be impossible to budget. And thinking of that at the time, like, okay, what can we really afford if we hit a $5,000 goal? So the truth is, I've never done crowdfunding before this film. Everything else I've done was self-produced, and it's just a matter of contact, which is fantastic in Buffalo and stuff, depending on who you know and everything that help move forward. With that, it was a lot of thinking like, okay, we want to tell the story in 1947 when the Roswell crash happened. That just turned out to be impossible because there's not many cars in Western New York that you can use for props and so on. We're like, okay, well, what if we do the 1980s? Because everyone loves the Stranger Things era, and we just went with that, and it seemed more doable at the time. There's more footage for stock stuff to use, and it's kind of the timeline hype it seems like for film lately. When it came to the aliens, we thought, okay, maybe do CGI. There was a couple other options and sketches we went with, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck, let's just do puppets. And then everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's
that,
like,
I think
okay.
that's definitely the correct choice.
And I was like, okay, they're down for it. And then I got a hold of Silly Puppets on the website and talked to the customer service, got the permissions to use a green alien or a green furry puppet and a purple one. We altered the looks a little bit for the film, so they're unique. And yeah, they came in the mail. Everybody loved them. Everyone did, unfortunately, inappropriate things with the puppets when they had their chances and stuff. But yeah, it was a complete blast, and I was so honored that I got to work with Paul again, and then especially Sarah Jean. Sarah Jean's a huge rising actress that first I only worked with her on a short film by Sabrina Young in Buffalo, and then Sarah jumped on Not Another Monster Movie as a vampire, and then she really expressed her talent and interest, so we wrote her to be the lead for Little Green People and stuff to co-star with Paul McGinnis, and the two of them together are the best dynamic duo I've ever worked with. Not only their commitment though, but they're the funniest pair to work together for comedic films.
I think there's a connection to Not Another Monster Movie. I believe The Hand is.
Yes. Yeah, that's funny because it was actually. Were you talking about the moment of when the alien's hand reaches over for the gun?
Yes. Yeah.
The funny thing is that was shot on the exact same property, not 20 feet from the tree.
Oh, really?
That we used for a monster movie. Yeah. And it's funny too because Brad Spiata, who plays Dung in this movie, and he played Mark in the Not Another Monster Movie, he was there for both nights of filming. So yeah, it was pretty fun. So we usually for that kind of stuff we shoot at Dean Palaio's property. Dean Paleo is one of the associate producers. My mind just went blank from coffee. And he's also the judge of Elma, which is a lot of towns that we shoot in, kind of thing like that here locally. And he has this huge property. He's been very generous with us, letting us film there. But yeah, it's quite a blast, and we're excited to see or show people what we've been up to for the past 2 years of this nightmare of scheduling with COVID. But yeah, I'm most grateful we had the most committed cast to see this through, and they really kick some major ass getting this done.
Did you get to do any of the puppetry, Paul?
Only once, and it broke my heart. I only got to do it once, and I kept like, hey, I could do it now. I forgot even what scene it was. But there was one where it just, and I'm in the scene too, so I'm kind of like double duty. I think not to slut shame the puppet, but I think everyone had a shot with it, But I'm seriously wanted to be a Muppeteer when I was a kid, so this was my closest I've come. I've worked with so many films that have puppets in it, and I never get to do the puppets. And I, of course, don't want to jump on anyone's, but the one time I'm like, I'll do it. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun.
It was funny because there's he's talking about a group scene he was in, and I had him standing next to our actress, Alyssa Grace. And I was like, okay, so Brad physically changes from the puppet form to human form, and Brad wasn't present at the shoot. I'm like, okay, so we got to use the puppet as the stand-in. So I had Paul stand next to Alyssa and had the puppet between them, arched behind them. So it kind of made sense to give the illusion that Brad's there when he physically wasn't there that day. It worked out. And yeah, Paul got to work the puppet. Sarah Jean got to work the puppet in a clip that's actually in the trailer when Paul's being interrogated at the desk.
That's right. That was her.
Puppet. Yeah, you see a little green puppet pop up, and that's like one of the poster child images for Buffalo Dreams for our little advertisement. And it's just Sarah. It's me and Sarah were on our knees under this window. Mm-hmm. And I'm operating the arm and she's operating the head. And you just see the head just open up like that. And that was completely her.
That's legit one of my favorite scenes too. That just watched because I got to watch it from my angle, and it was I hope it turned out as funny in the film as it was in real life. Because
oh yeah,
it's been a couple 2 or 3 years that you were working on it. So what was that experience like, making a film during COVID?
It was horrible.
I remember the read through was January 2020, and we're all like, "Yay, we got nothing ahead of us! Yeah. Yay for the future!"
Yeah. The movie I did, we shot it in February 2020. It was like a week or two right before everything shut down, and then.
Yep. I not to one up, but March 2020, I filmed a scene for a different film, and that was legit when I think it was a Sunday, and I think that week was the same week. So I was up to the bitter end.
That's the worst.
So mainly what happened was we had a huge read through at a restaurant, and everything went fantastic. Everyone's morale was through the roof. We're like, okay, this is great. We had exactly who we wanted in mind for the characters. And then COVID hit, and we're like, okay, the world's quite in a bad place. We're going to press pause for a while.
Yeah,
And-
everyone remembers that originally we thought it'd be like 2 weeks, and then like
Oh,
things
yeah.
are going to start getting
Yeah.
normal, but
Like,
They
wait
would've
till
been.
next month, everything will be fine.
Right.
Yep. And yeah, we had an original plan to shoot in April, and it came down to Kristen and I deciding like, okay, we really have to hold off for everybody's safety, and not only that, with New York State restrictions going on, and the virus was just so new and scary. Nobody could operate and stuff, and that was like, I remember my day job. I had a pass in my car saying I was an essential worker in case I get pulled over for driving around, and it's just scary to think that it got to that. So the world started opening up in fall time, and I reached out to everybody, like, hey, I know we did this crowdfunding. If you're still interested, I really want to get this movie done. Luckily, Sarah and Paul were 100% on game for it. We did recast Quali twice, the main alien. Originally, Mick O'Keefe was going to play it, and he had some outside issues affecting him, and I told him to put his health first, and he did. Dom Luongo, who you'll see in Guns of Eden, was next in line, and we both agreed with medical conditions and stuff like that, it's best to step down. And then that's when Ashley Serbaki stepped up, and you'll remember her from my feature, Not Another Monster Movie. She actually played the Wolf Woman, or the Werewolf Woman, and I think she was like 15 or 16 at the time and playing this full werewolf. And
She had to be
also
young. She just hit 18 like yesterday.
yeah.
And we filmed that
happy
2
belated
years ago.
birthday to Ashley. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, we Mary helped produce Little Green People, her mom. And she's like, would you take this into consideration for Ashley? Because Ashley was already cast as one of the executioners in the film. It's like the female fembop police force of like Andromeda or whatever. We're like, okay, we can move that around and make it work. So Ashley became the main alien that crashes in Roswell. So you'll see in the film, I did most of the puppet work for Quali, and I did the alien voice for Quali. And then when you see Quali turn to a human, it's all Ashley. So I was happy I got to share that role with her. And good news for her, she's been on HBO's Divorced, season 3. You could spot her in multiple episodes. She's doing fantastic acting work. And yeah, she's just so awesome to work with, and I'm so happy for the path ahead of her.
yeah.
They actually just texted me right now that they're watching us. She said, "Thank you."
Very good. Well, good thing they didn't text say this is terrible. Why are you talking about it?
Yeah.
So have you guys had I know it's going to premiere at Buffalo, but have you had a chance to watch a movie with anyone, with an audience? Like, did you do a cast of group screening or anything?
It's been very private links. I know I'll be open to the world. I sent you, Neal, a link so you can watch the movie before this. I think I sent Paul, I think I sent you the rough cut.
You did send it to me. I don't want to see it this big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I told you, yeah. Even if I had no involvement, the best way to see movies on the big screen.
Oh yeah,
especially if you're
as
like
big as
involved with it.
possible.
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. And other than that, it's mainly just been me and Kristen sending footage back and forth to each other. And a lot of the times too was I'll make a edit and then I'll send it to her, and then she'll send notes back of like, okay, fix this, this, and this, and I'll fix those. And then if I notice something's off with lighting or coloring, I go back and do that. Then I send her the file, and it was just a lot of back and forth from editor to director kind of thing. And I was very glad that we got a cut that we both like to submit.
When did you start working with Kristen?
That was for Murder Creek. So originally I was upgrading cameras and I was selling my old Canon 70D that I shot the live movies on. And it turns out that, yeah, she was a new filmmaker at the time. We're getting into it. And she wanted a reliable camera. And I ended up selling to her. Then 2 months later, she got in touch that she was looking for a cinematographer for Murder Creek. And I realized, oh, it's on my old camera that I know how to fully operate. So yeah, she had really, really good lenses. That's why I loved about Murder Creek. And yeah, we shot that. And then it was about roughly around a 10-month turnaround for Buffalo Dreams. And it was amazing to know that it was completely sold out beyond capacity show showing at Buffalo Dreams that the whole theater was filled. They had to turn people away, and Greg walked up to us. He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to get you guys a second screening." I was like, "For a short film?" And I was like, "Yes."
Rock on.
So since then, it I'll be honest, that Murder Creek definitely saved my career and everything. I was at a low spot, just not getting gigs, and then as like a cinematographer, that got a lot of my stuff looked at, and then that proceeded to going to work for Jonathan Inbody for his short film that's like a werewolf thing with Mark Vogelmo as well, and just going to other local shorts, which has helped a ton. So it's that hype is what helped fuel Little Green People of me and Kristen working together again for a feature.
Yeah, they did really well in our Severed Limbs Film Festival. I think it won, and it was up there near the top in a lot of the categories.
Oh yeah,
good. Yeah, it was very, very fun to shoot. There's probably 5 scenes we shot that didn't make the final cut, and it's weird because, like Paul would understand this too, when you're working on set and you do all these extra things, and then you just see them not make the film, and you have that extra perspective kind of thing. It was really, really neat. Even like with Little Green People, we did 2 reshoots. One of them was a complete police drug heist shootout. Originally we shot November of 2020 in the basement of the restaurant we had the read-through in, and we were so limited. We kept our crew, like everybody on set, probably down to 5 or 6 people. And we're like, okay, how do we make this giant shootout look legit with only 2 cops and 2 bad guys? And we shot it, and it looked funny, but we knew we could go back and make it better. So roughly 8 months after that, we had the opportunity to film at a warehouse that Kristen helped get us, and had a whole boatload of extras. And I think Paul missed every single shot. So of the gun. So once you guys see the movies and stuff, there's a lot of character dynamic with Paul McGinnis' character and Sarah Jean's that really, really helped the story. And I'm really glad that they did it the way that they did.
Paul, how many movies are you going to be in at Buffalo this year?
At Dreams this year? 4?
that's tremendous.
Yeah.
Little Green People. And then the short that I did with Kristen called Trapped. And then I did some things with some guys up in Springville called Skeleton Xylophone, which is an anthology, and of course I'm in Guns of Eden. So.
Yeah, interesting. So I know usually his movies aren't like an official like selection, but
yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that you did Clowns in the Woods too, which that played last.
Yes, you know what? I just bought a copy of it. Every single showing of that I've missed. And I finally got a copy of it, which I haven't watched yet. And then Ty messaged me the other day going, "You're in Clowns in the Woods." I'm like, I know, right?
I watched it for the first time. I was clicking through on Tubi just because a lot of our indie stuff ends up on there, like in our community. I was like, oh, that's
that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's Adrian's film. And I just clicked it, and I was like, Paul's a detective coming out of a crime scene. And I was like, this is very similar to something we've done before.
Hey, you can't spell typecast without cast, so I'm okay.
Exactly.
Put me in every cop part there is now. I'll take it.
Do you have your own uniform at home?
Cast me these days, and so I'll take what I can get.
Do you have a police uniform at home just in case you get cast as a cop?
I have a police uniform, but that's for another career I do. If you know any bachelorette parties, just let me know. What else I said about that? Because my mom might be listening.
Maybe that's really how you met Ty. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you look good as a cop, sir. Thank you.
So I also want to mention John Renna. I'm friends with John. I met him many times in Buffalo, and it's very good to see him in the movie. He's good to see him in the trailer and in the film. He's always very funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Paul had the best back and forth. Not one take was the same in their argument scenes.
No, yeah.
And that's the whole thing too of splicing it together. We let them go improv, and I had to make an argument when editing it together. I had to make it work. There was probably 5 different arguments put together into one straight dialogue, and it was just so difficult. And I told Kristen, this is my favorite scene ever, but it's the hardest to edit because none of them say the same thing twice.
Right.
My favorite moment came when I couldn't remember Sarah Jean's character's name, and I'm yelling at Reddis, and I go, "I heard you fired the girl."
Yeah.
It's like,
I think that might. I don't want to spoil anything, but that blooper
That's
like
in the
that
blooper
might
reel.
actually be.
Yeah.
is it in the blooper reel? Oh, good. I'm not usually one to, but I think I broke myself on that one. Like, the female one that
There was no solid take. Every single take, everyone started burst out laughing. I had to, like I said, I had to clip it together my best that I.
Yeah.
And it was like I'll still watch the behind the scenes stuff and I'll still laugh at it just because it was so funny that night. So the main thing John Renna did was, the role was recast to Renna. So originally this role was written for our friend Michael O'Hear. Michael O'Hear passed away that year, 2020. Early on, he had complications with healing from a surgery, and this was a really big role that he was really excited for. And that was one of our last conversations before he went in. And because I told Michael, I'm like, hey, I think I can make you slap Paul in this movie. He goes, oh, I'll do it twice. And he joked about it. And so what we reached out to John Renna because he was really close friends with Michael O'Hear. And they told him, like, I want to offer you this role. I said, if you could do it in his voice, I think it'd be a really, really special thing. And he did, and he stayed in character, and he did fantastic. And yeah, there's a special in loving memory of at the end of the film that I hope a lot of people enjoy. But that was one thing that John was very committed to it. I'm very grateful for everything he did with it. But when he brought out like Michael O'Hear's voice and stuff of how he was portraying it, everyone just kept laughing. It was so spot on, and so like you could, when being friends with him, you could kind of see him sitting in that seat yelling at Sarah and Paul, kind of thing. And it's a very touching thing. Mm-hmm. I think what was it? Even on set that night, the lights started flickering too.
Yeah, I have a feeling because John and Mike always had a love-hate relationship, and I mean they were friends and everything. But man, working on set together, they really worked, and it was fun. If you ever watch, I mean, you saw Dry Bones that night and played, and
Yep.
listened to some of those stories. And so I think Mike is both happy and probably pissed as hell that Renna stepped in and was like doing that homage to him. And good,
Yeah, it's either that or I'm thinking Michael might be pissed that this is the second time I had to work on a production without him. Because originally Michael here was gonna play Dr. Stein in Little Green People, and then we realized how physical the role was going to be. And I told him flat out, I said, I'm worried about your physical status and your health, and this is going to be very draining. And I said, it's nothing against him. I just think we should go with the younger performer. And at the time, too, he did a movie with Deftone Picture Studios, and it was very, very close looking to the character that we wrote. Yeah. And I didn't want any legal backfire on it. So that's why we kind of both agreed, and he never let it down. He goes, I know you let... He would tell me every time, he's like, monster movie would have succeeded if you had a quality actor in the lead spot. And that's the thing, he told me he was never mad at me about the situation, but he would always remind me of it. And that's what he did every time I saw him in person. And it would be like months after Monster Movie came out, and he goes, oh, that movie would have been so much better with me. And I was like, I know, Michael, I'm sorry. Like, we shot, a lot of it was in the middle of the night. So... yeah, it was so much fun, but there's a lot of touching moments.
No offense to the actor who did play Dr.
Yeah.
But I think he's...
Oh, yeah, Johnny did great at everything like that, but it was originally the film was called Not Another Ghost Movie, and it was a completely different premise, and that's what Michael O'Hear was mainly cast for. Then when budgeting changed with also the affordability, like I mentioned, that's when we stepped down the quality of what we were aiming for to complete what we wanted. But no matter what, like, Paul was always involved, Mark Vogelman was always involved, and so was Brad Spiata.
Well, doing that movie and then doing Little Green People, like, how different are the two movies, just making them, and how do you think you've grown as a filmmaker?
Well, the audio's a lot better, I promise you that. I remember.
I think that's something Greg yelled at you about.
Yes, it is. It is specifically. he told me never make a film without audio again, and I was like, yes, Greg, I promise, and I kept my word. I have, yeah. Even though filming in COVID, you're very limited to how many people you could have on set. Not only that, but interacting. So a lot of we had originally a full crew ready to go in January, and we had to, I don't want to say call cutbacks, but we had to extremely limit our head count on set every single day. Some of the times it was just Paul, Sarah, and another actor, and just me and Kristen on crew. Kristen did the directing, she did the sound operating with her microphone, and she ran slate. And then in between things too, like Sarah Jean was operating some of the lights, some of the actors were doing the puppets, Paul was doing script supervising, and it just kept going from there. But we all really did a very small army of crew members to get this film done. But it was fun, and I'm just excited for everybody to see it.
Yeah. No, it is very fun. I got to see it. And not just because you're here, it's a very fun movie. And I'm a big fan of the puppets, even if not all of them are green.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got the purple one here. I was showing you a little bit earlier. So this is the one that Brad Spiata plays.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's still a little bit more of a story to tell after the film ends, but we'll get to that another day. Yeah.
Okay.
I had asked Ty before you joined us, Paul, about Greg and the film festival in general, how that helps people. How has Greg helped you as an actor and being involved in films?
Well,
Anderson, for people who don't know.
Yeah, Greg, as an actor, he's helped me. Of course, he directed the film that I wrote, Killer Act. So Greg and I have always had I met him. I was an extra in Slime City Massacre. A blink and you miss me in the background extra. And through that, I got to meet Mike O'Hare and got to get to know Greg. And he cast me in a couple other things. And then during Dry Bones, I think is really when I kind of stepped up and helped behind the scenes. And really, I think our friendship grew and our professional relationship grew. So he's always, I'm very grateful for the things he's let me do. Like I said, in Guns of Eden, not to spoil, but I have an amazing death scene that I can't wait to see. And, so I've pretty much been a part of most, if not every one of his films since Slime City Massacre. So,
I've seen two of your movies that you haven't even seen. I've seen Guns of Eden and Little Green People.
I've not seen either of them. So, very excited to get to see them both on the big screen. And so Greg is always about supporting independent, and always, not only that, but he's a lot of the reason that Killer Rat got made, not just because he directed it, but I had submitted a screenplay to Buffalo when it was Buffalo Screams, that he said that, oh my God, this was so funny, but it's horribly written. And it was called Mall Grizzly, something I intend to reapproach one day, but a grizzly bear at the mall. And he said, he gave me a lot of good pointers that I then used to write Killer Rack. And Killer Rack was my practice script to go back and write Mall Grizzly, but I liked it so much. And I submitted it to the film festival the year after. This is before I was a major part of it. It won. It was an out of town judge, and it won. And Greg's acceptance speech as I went up was, "Paul was the last person I expected to win this. You did not write a good screenplay at all, but it was funny." And he's always been one to really, even if he has negative things to say about it, it's always in the context of how can we make this better.
Yeah, constructive criticism. I'm just saying this sucked.
Yeah. He wants people to succeed. I mean, that's what he is. He knows what it's like to be the struggling little guy, even though he's very, very famous and deserves all the renown he has. And the man knows more about films than I'll ever even learn. And so just a lot of respect for him, and I'll always support the guy. So
yeah. And Buffalo, what I like about it, I haven't been for a few years because of COVID, but I always like the community aspect of Buffalo Dreams. There's a lot, a lot of regulars and people. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to see each other do well.
Yeah, and I think there's a good portion of I hope there is. Of course, there's but that just really want to not just to succeed, but want each other to succeed. You know, if I can lift you up, that's lifting all of us up, kind of deal. And that's the kind of mentality that I appreciate, that I try to pay forward when I can. I've had the pleasure to work with so many amazing locals, and I hope to continue to do so. It's a great little community. I agree.
Yeah. And just throwing out there for people who maybe not be in Buffalo, I always tell everyone, you probably have a community in your area somewhere. Seek it out if you're interested in getting involved in movies.
I found
it's one of those things that once you get your foot in the door, you're like, oh my God, this is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep, I found one in just above Salt Lake City when I was in Ogden, Utah, that when I first got there in November, they're just wrapping a Lindsay Lohan movie. And it turns out Fred and Chris Olin Ray actively shoot films in that area as well as Buffalo here. But it just turns out I just missed them by that much when they were in town. And I was like, crap, because that would have got me lined up perfectly with all the local actors. So I'm still in touch with a handful of people in Utah. I want to give a shout out to my friend Jordan out there, who's been there for me a lot and stuff, especially when I really needed a friend. But the acting community out there is pretty impressive and stuff. It's just, I was mainly there for only 6 months, and it was unfortunately just the dead season of winter. So by that time, so like the last time I was on the show, I was 1,900 miles away from where I am now.
Yeah. So, did you go out there to become a Mormon, or what were you doing in Utah?
No.
Multiple lives now? I don't know.
I can't even get one person to text me back. Okay. let alone an email. So, but no, it was just an unfortunate living situation. And then I had enough saved up, so I moved all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm back in the area and ready to continue my reign of chaos in Buffalo film. So, and that just means writing movies specifically for Paul to be the lead actor in.
Paul's excited about this.
I'm very excited. I've got like 3 people who cast me these days, and Ty is like 3 of them.
Yep.
So are you going to ever finish a new script for Mall Grizzly? I love the name.
You know what? I'm working on these other scripts right now, but it's always I occasionally I'll pick it up and read it again. I'm like, ooh, it's got some funny bits on it that I'd love to do. Also, it's going back what Ty was saying is something within your means to actually make a movie. We got to get them all, which probably won't be that bad.
That's probably the main thing. Yeah.
But you got to get a grizzly bear. How are we? So I've got a lot of special effects people who. Eric Sismicki, who's a local guy who legit still occasionally comes up to me and goes, Paul, I think I have ideas of how we can do this. So if I can ever get a good grizzly bear and get a budget to get them all, I might just say, okay, this is my sign from above, and we'll make Mall Grizzly happen. So here's hoping. Will it be as good as Killer Rack? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. So you get a grizzly costume, and you can steal shots in between films at Buffalo Dreams.
There we go. Just keep on little by little. Just every time you go to the Eastern Mall, just like do a little guerrilla filmmaking of just run around in that bear costume.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Grizzly.
But just bring a real bear with you.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Well, I put an ad for a bear in the but I got some weird messages back. I guess it's something else.
You get emails from John Renna.
John Renna was the first one to contact me. I was like, dude, what are you? Oh, why are you a mother? I'm okay.
What's that eggplant emoji in the email?
So, what was it like directing a sword fight?
I just told him just go with it. We're running out of time on our rental. That's exactly what it came down to. When we wrote the script, we're like, okay, this is going to be this perfect 6-minute back and forth battle. And so Kristen got us Lasertron to film, and we were the first feature film in Buffalo to film inside a Lasertron arena, which was fantastic. It was not only us making history, we didn't have to do any set design. It just looked like that. And I was like, it's fantastic, but we only had it for 3 hours. We were trying to cram 17 scenes into 3 hours, and everyone knew this is get shit done day. Yeah. Because I think it was quite a lot of money. I won't say what, but Kristen covered it, and she's the best. But it came down to we had 20 minutes left. I'm like, Paul, here's a sword. Dean, here's a sword. Fight. and their dialogue back and forth was improv, and I tried to make it fun, but it was supposed to be this big sword fight over the course of like I said, between 5 to 10 minutes as everything else is going around between the other characters. And we got like 2 minutes of footage. And I made it work with editing though. Like so originally there was nothing scripted when you see the purple alien, and that was just me doing pickups in Utah by myself on a blue screen with the puppet and a couple of Nerf guns and everything that I spray painted up. And especially with the miniatures you guys will see later in the film too on what I call the flight deck. That was me making little Play-Doh crafts, and
I'm a big fan. I like the Muppets, but
yeah.
I'm a big fan of the little creatures.
Thank you. So the funny thing, there was three people that direct movies that voiced those characters. So Richard Roundtree from the UK, he voiced one of them. Josh Ebach, who's down in Texas, he's the one that actually made that giant green antagonist alien that you see in the beginning of the film. That was all him. That he made this thing and he shipped it to me for free. And I told him, like, let me give you some money. You made this fantastic creature. He goes, no. He's like, I haven't done something in a while. This is yours for free.
Wow.
I was like, shit. And it's a one of a kind thing. That was the problem. It was latex and clay. And when it arrived in March, a week before the shutdown, and we're like, shit, we don't know how long this thing's going to stay as one piece because it's very hot and humid. The thing started breaking apart within like 5 months, and we just babied it as best as we could over a year. But it kept like, not like it was getting moldy or anything, but it was getting smelly. And I would just like put it in the corner of my apartment or not my apartment, my mobile home, next to the air conditioner, just to try to keep it as cool as possible. Up until like, I think one point the head popped off, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to do close-up shots of the head for a little while. And that's what it turned out to be. I won't ruin it though, but you'll see the head by itself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was so much work, and he voiced one of the aliens too. And then a couple other people sent in voice recordings of film contacts I've had, whether if they're out in Los Angeles or Atlanta. It was more of like a group effort, but everyone was sending audio files.
Nice.
And a lot of it too was because we didn't want every alien to speak English, so I would just highlight their audio and then play it in reverse. So that's what we ended up doing, and Kristen told me to put in subtitles, so I did. And then we also have an amazing brand that gave us permission to advertise them. It was all because of John Renna. It's called Sticky Candy. They're based in Australia. They sent a couple bags of candy that John's a huge fan of, and we got to use it in the movie and advertise them. And then it's funny too, because Sticky just opened up a USA branch and everything to order the taffy from.
Oh, nice.
The hard taffy. So as far as we know, we have permission from the company owner in Australia that we could use their stuff. So I'm just hoping there's not going to be any backfire on the American side of it.
Yeah. I think Richard has a movie in
yes, he does. Yep.
That I want to see.
I'm trying to think if it's on here. Mask of the Devil. Yep. So that is awesome to know that Richard's in Mask of the Devil and Little Green People. So it's all it was like I said, it's a connection we made at Buffalo Dreams together, and it just turned into this friendship for the past 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
It was when we first did our crowdfunding. Oh yeah, when we first did our crowdfunding for Little Green People, he donated on the first day on his birthday to help out, and that was one of the coolest things ever. And he was telling me stories of working on set for Dune and the Star Wars Jakku set.
Oh wow!
And everything out there, and he's one of the coolest and nicest guys ever.
And the profane exhibit is I'm sure a lot of people like me have been wanting to see that for like a decade, so that's very cool.
Oh, yeah.
The actual full film is going to be in Buffalo.
Oh, we're super excited.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I should mention the date, by the way. Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival starts August 19th, so just a week from tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Knocking on the door.
It's about a week long, and I believe your film is going to be Little Green People on the 23rd.
Yep, on Tuesday the 23rd at 7:20 p.m. and then Paul's short film is right after.
Oh, he does that a lot. He puts the short films, matches them up with a feature.
Yep, and we have a couple new things coming up. I'm still working on this documentary for Michael O'Hare and his memory and stuff, just because there's so much footage that a lot of local directors shot that just haven't really seen much of the light of day. And I've been going through collecting footage and permissions to use stuff and going through and doing interviews with friends and family just to give them one last good spot in the spotlight. I've been working on it for about 1.5 years now. It's taken some time because I want to make sure I do it the right way. Mm-hmm. And it's not about being lazy or too much chaos going on. I never shot a documentary before. I want to make sure I have good sound. I just want to help remember my friend the way he deserves to be remembered. So I'm aiming for it. Thank you. I'm aiming for it to be ready to show for next year's Buffalo Dreams, and that'll probably be my only submission that we have going on. There is an after story in development for Little Green People that some of the cast are very private of who's going to not wrap things up, but just give the extra little chapter of work just because we all love working together comedically. And then it's on to our next feature, Slasher Days of Summer, that Paul McGinnis is cast in as one of the leads, as well as Sarah Jean returning to act with him too, and John Renna. So it is going to be a very early 2000s camp slasher style film with a lot of comedy. And there might be a Bigfoot. Yeah, there might be a Bigfoot.
All right, things just got better now.
Yeah. All bases are covered.
Everything's better with Bigfoot.
Yep, absolutely. It's like bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon and Bigfoot.
And if you've ever had Bigfoot bacon, it is so good.
That's what I'm looking for.
It is really
exactly.
It's another reason to visit Buffalo.
Yep. Bigfoot jerky and bacon.
Get a Bigfoot bacon BLT. It's amazing.
Bigfoot bacon on Weck.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know. They seem to put a lot of hair in it sometimes.
It adds to the flavor.
Exactly.
Floss your teeth after.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. And bleach it too. Yeah.
What do you have in the works, Paul? Besides, obviously, this Bigfoot slasher film.
Right now, just a lot of planning. Just a lot of I'm writing. I've been writing a lot of shorts. Working with a couple guys up in Springville called the September Brothers. They're showing Skeleton Xylophone. It's been a lot of fun working with them, working with Ty. Doing stage, I'm open, Buffalo, if you need me. But I find that the best way to get cast is to write myself roles. So I'm working on a few things. Nothing solid yet, but here's hoping, soon. Just keep on chugging away.
Yeah. Well, Little Green people... go on, sorry.
We have to revisit our script idea, Paul, the film Singles that we talked about
years
ago with
yes.
About a group of
friends that guys in Buffalo. I mean,
yeah, about a group of guy friends that could just never get dates, and it's a comedy that we always joke about.
Don't know where I'm gonna reach in for that acting experience. I'll have to. I need a moment.
So, Little Green People, we play in at Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival, and you can go to buffalodreamsfantasticfilmfestival.com to find out information there. And everyone should check it out there. But if you can't make it to Buffalo, what's the future for Little Green People after Buffalo?
So we're gonna do obviously this film festival. Me and Kristen are gonna talk on booking 2 extra showings, probably at the Screen Room Cafe. I was talking to Rob the last time I was there, and it seems like everything's going to line up good for fall time. And we're going to do the festival run. So I have a couple connections in Sundance, so I'm going to submit to them, and hopefully we get considered. We're not expected to be selected, but still just to know what I have a friend that'll help us get looked at.
Yeah, give it a shot anyway.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to submit it to, there's a couple of festivals I'm looking in at New York City and one in Toronto, but we're going to play the circuit for a year, see what we can do. And the main purpose of this movie is to really show the talent and the dedication that Sarah and Paul put into this. And I really hope that a lot of people enjoy the comedy that they created. and stuff. Like I said, one of the strong things too is that Paul is super, super good at improv, and I hope Greg would consider letting Paul do improv in a film.
I'm not sure what my improv is for Greg's films, but I'll be happy just to get cast another one. You know, he's big scale now. I'll take what I can get.
Especially. But we're excited for the festival. It's going to be the first time I ever buy a suit and tie.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm getting an award or anything like that. I've never won an award in my life, and never have gotten one in film. Films that I've been a part of have gotten awards for other things, but nothing for cinematography or writing. So fingers crossed. So no matter what, I'm super excited to show the world what they've been waiting for, and it's puppets that swear. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. And, where can people follow Little Green People to see where it goes?
Right now it is on Facebook. If you search Little Green People, oddly we're the only thing that pop up. I thought there'd be a huge, UFO conspiracy site.
Oh yeah.
Nothing. It's just,
I'm wearing the shirt
us.
for the show here today.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That.
That is awesome.
I have that blanket actually, Neal.
Oh, nice! I saw the board game too. For this case.
Oh, that's one they turned into a board game now. Nice.
That is so cool. So not only that, for the next couple of weeks, I'll be posting on my social media quite a lot. You can follow me at Ty Cheman on Instagram. And yeah, we had an Instagram page, and I got locked out of it. That I just lost the password, and I was shit. There's like 50 posts on there now. I can't update anything. So mainly my Instagram is going to be my main personal account that I'll be plugging the film as much as possible. And then our Facebook page for Little Green People should come up 2022. So other than that, we have 2 teasers dropping. One's going to be tonight, and then another one's going to be a day before the premiere. So it's kind of like a countdown kind of thing of little clips to use. But we're super excited, and the cast is ready for this film to be out. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. And this is my first shot doing a sci-fi comedy and stuff. And each project I learned something on and stuff. So even though I've been doing this for roughly 9 to 10 years, as a writer and cinematographer, I feel like I learned something from each production that I've been a part of improving myself. And especially now knowing how important audio is from Greg. So we make sure we have decent audio that does not spike as much as everyone likes to shout in their scenes. Yeah, and little side note too. When editing in the middle of the night, roughly around 3 or 4 in the morning, and you're just editing audio, if the room gets very quiet, you could hear people gasp. So there's a scene that someone farted, and I'm like, I don't know who it was. I heard it. I'm pretty sure it was John Renna, because this is when he sat down in the chair at the office.
Then yeah, it was definitely him.
I don't know. There's going to be an extended blooper reel probably within our next local showing. This is what we're just going to call the festival cut, is what we're going to be showing at Buffalo Dreams. Because yeah, there's going to be more bloopers. We've already shot footage for behind the scenes stuff over, God, Paul, wasn't it like December that you sent in footage? It was Paul, Sarah, John Renna, and Heather sent in their little behind the scenes interviews, kind of things like that we've been compiling together with footage. It's roughly about a 20-minute video and stuff of them talking about the film, their involvement, what they liked on set, and so on like that. But that's all going to be included in the special features, and then like I said, we'll get the DVD ordered and start selling it like crazy, hopefully.
Yeah,
awesome.
And how about you, Paul? How can people follow you, see what you're up to?
I'm on the Book of Face. I'm on the Gram of Insta. I'm on Twitter, but I never go on Twitter. So I try to, I basically just there for fire memes and pushing whatever projects I'm a part of. I'll be for Buffalo People. I'll be in a stage production of Night of the Living Dead in
that's very
October,
cool. Yes.
where I play Johnny, very iconic Johnny, and very excited about that. And so just follow me on the socials. That's where I talk about my projects and I try to push myself and others.
You, Barbara, it's your big line.
I do.
You gotta hit us with that one. Gotta hit us with that one.
I was very lucky to attend the play last year, and that was Ben Torrance playing the other role.
Yeah, and his brother's playing it this year. Dan is playing this year.
There's a scene where Ben gets shot at the end of the movie, which is obviously that's when the well no.
You've given him 55 years. Yeah, like
yeah. So where the character gets shot and falls down the stairs. This kid took the fall, and I was like, oh my god. I was sitting there, and Paul, remember you mentioned that you were going to grab me when you were a zombie going through the crowd. I'm like, the lady next to me would have lost her. Lady next to me would have lost her shit.
We didn't have. Unfortunately, our zombie selection wasn't great last year. We got much better this year, and so I in between Johnny's opening scene, his little cameo at the end, they were like, "Can you be a zombie?" So I threw on a hazmat suit. And just I want, because in the great thing about the stage production is the zombies wander the audience.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I saw Ty there. I'm like, I could just drag him into the.
Yeah, I would have gone with it too, though. There's this old lady sitting across she was sitting across the aisle from me, and I was like, she's gonna lose her shit. I know this is Paul walking up to me. Like she would freak out. It would have been so funny. That was the best Halloween though. Was it Halloween night or was it October?
It was the weekend before Halloween. It was the weekend before Halloween.
Wow.
Okay. But yeah, it was such a fun play. I'm very excited to see it this year. I remember on the stage, like the front door to the house opened when it was supposed to be barricaded. You just see a zombie walk up, look inside, and just close the door. It was so funny that you just see this guy covered in blood just peek inside as the scene's going on and close the door.
Well, more than a few times during the last year's show, people would get there late. And, of course, again, interactive. So Johnny is running from a zombie in the beginning, and I run out the front door. And, like, twice I almost ran into people coming in. And I just kind of with it. I was just like, excuse me, coming through. Live theater.
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Yep.
That sounds very fun.
I wish the play company would consider Evil Dead.
Oh, that would be tremendous.
They wouldn't. I think it'd be way above their. I wish they would too, because I would pay money to be in that production. It's the musical is one of my favorite things ever. But
Neal, if you're ever in town during these plays, though, we'll make sure you come see them. Though,
definitely.
It's quite a treat. I was so happy that when I went, I called up Dean Paleo, that I mentioned him before, and he went to the theater with me to watch Paul to support him. So we had a little bit of the small cast of Little Green People to go show support for Paul.
Nice.
That's great. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no, it's very cool.
We do what we can. Yeah, because I invited Dean, and then he brought 5 people, and I was like, okay, this is good for their ticket sales. So
it was great.
I was at a really small production of Sweeney Todd, and they did it where they went through the crowd too, and it's just it's a very fun experience.
Oh, anytime they do something like that, you gotta love that.
Yeah. Sweeney Todd's definitely a classic.
I remember seeing Phantom of the Opera for the first time in my life in the last 7 years, and I was on a date, and I didn't realize the chandeliers were supposed to fall.
Oh, that's the best.
And I freaked out. Like I was in one of the higher rows, and I'm like, "Oh my god, all these people are going to get hurt!" And I just see this thing start sparking, and it drops 10 feet at Shea's Performing Arts Center. I panicked. It scared the hell out of me. I'm like, "Wow, this is a really good-looking chandelier. You think they would dust it by now?" Everything, and no.
I love it. You're like the old woman you said was going to lose her shit if the zombie dragged you. Yeah, because like I said, I'd never seen the plane before at the time, and this was my first time seeing it. But yeah, Night of the Living Dead play is definitely fantastic, and I'm really excited now. I get to see it again this year. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that would be a good time.
Well, this has been very fun to talk with both of you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Talk to Paul for the first time. I don't think I ever met him at Buffalo. I've been to a couple.
I think we're Facebook friends. I want to say we're Facebook friends.
Yeah.
If not, we should be.
If not, we will be.
You will be.
Yeah.
Like me. Mall Grizzly. Come on. No.
You had a small grizzly.
There you go. I will For you, only for you two, I'll make the movie now.
Very good, very good. All right, well, everyone go and see Little Green People.
Definitely
Buffalo
do
Green.
it.
It'll be a good time.
Definitely. 7:20 p.m. August 23rd, Eastern Hills Dipson. Best seats are definitely the first row. Just so maybe all know. No, don't sit in the first row, please. Just sit in the middle if you do show up. It'll be fun. We'll do pictures.
Bring your raincoat. I'm gonna get messy. Don't ask why. Don't ask follow-up questions, please.
All right. Well,
I'll be standing in the doorway at the back, nervously shaking.
Yeah, is that what you normally do for your own film?
That's what me and Kristen did for Murder Creek when the whole theater showed out. I'm like, please God, I hope the file doesn't glitch. Luckily, we did fine. So when we showed Not Another Monster Movie, we had a sold out show at the screening room, and we used Mark Vogelball's computer plugged into their projector system. And on the funniest scene of the movie, the computer fell asleep. The whole screen went black. I freaked out so bad. And Paul, I don't know if you remember, I was like touching the keyboard just to make sure it was going to stay awake for the rest of the movie multiple times.
Was it one of my scenes?
That was the How Much Noise Can You Make?
Oh yeah, that was one of my scenes. Oh yeah. I was just thinking. Yeah, I'm funny.
But that was like the one panic moment I had. I'm like, I made so much money on ticket sales that night for me because like I was the sole producer for Not Another Monster Movie, and I was like, wow, I made like half my money back on just the first night, and then the movie falls asleep. I panicked so bad.
Well, good luck on this one here.
Hopefully, I'm very
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
And we will talk to you next week.
Thank you so much. Good night, Neal.
Good night, Troy.